definitely higher on the reward scale and more fulfillment there. There's something special about being out on the course and seeing your family there and just being kind of like lifted up. When they're out there, it's worth taking the 30-second pause and giving them a hug and a kiss and extra high fives and
sure.
paying some attention to them out there before you go and run off for the rest of the day. But I always find myself to be lifted higher, and it's like, oh man, it's so great to see them and see the smiles on your kid's face and how stoked they are when they see you running around doing crazy shit. Welcome to the Low Tide Boys, a Swimrun podcast. I'm Chip.
I'm Chris, and this is episode 287 of the show. We're back in Studio G. Chipper's back from France as of recording, like from 10 hours ago or something.
Yes. Still in the throes of jet lag.
Yes.
But on the better way back, though.
That's true. That's true. But we're back, and we have a great show for everyone this week. This week, we're doing what we're calling our Swimrun Family Vacation Planning Guide. So we got this idea because Chipper literally just took his family on a swimrun vacation. We did it last year at Whistler, and because I'm going to Whistler in a few days from when we're recording, it just got us kind of thinking. It's like, yeah, there's probably some things that we could share. That some of it is kind of funny, and some of it is, it is what it is, but could be actionable to help you get you and your family to a swimrun event. And as we talk about swimrun all the time, it's like cool races in cool places.
Yeah.
And it's been, I think, super positive experience for us being able to bring our families and have them watch us race.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really helps them kind of come along with the journey. Obviously, we're charged up about swimrun, but you are as well. If you're listening to this, the assumption is, and likely your family has heard or been involved with swimruns at some point. So to come out and watch them and help support, cheer on, see what it's all about, get a little bit of taste for it, and then continue to enjoy your summer vacation. But yeah, we figured there's some good tips and tricks and things that you all can do to help make the most of yours.
Exactly. Yeah. So we broke it down in a couple different categories, and we kind of took it from almost like a chronological basis. Yeah. So for the first thing we wanted to talk about was getting family, quote unquote, buy-in. So it's on us as swim runners to do good, convincing jobs of being like, hey, family, this is why we should go to Engadin, or this is why we should go to Finland, or this is why we should go it doesn't matter where it is. Whistler, this is why we should go to Portland or Whistler or, North Carolina. But kind of thinking about, it's like, we love the sport. We're obviously drank the Kool-Aid. Our family members are obviously supportive, but it requires a little bit of inspiration, I think, to just get everyone really motivated on the idea.
Yeah, it definitely is something you want to hone and craft your pitch on. Think of it a big meeting at work or big presentation.
Slide decks.
Understanding that this is one component of your vacation. So as part of your pitch or proposal, understanding what other components are there and how to best position your race for the best success of the vacation.
Right.
Personally, I think for us, we have had more success in anchoring the activities on the front end of things, and then you have kind of the rest of it. And, part of the pitch is, hey, I could be a little bit more lax with training. We can go walk around Disneyland for 12 hours, 2 days after your race. Whatever the situation is, will all help get to that yes.
Exactly. And I think this leads into the second thing which we recommend, which is choosing the location, right? And as soon as you get some buy-in, include your family in the whole or family or friends or partners, whoever you're having bring with you, include them, maybe if you don't, if it's me, if my family wants to go watch me do Uta or Oland or whatever.
Insert any race.
Yeah, it's like, here's a menu of locations in the world that'd be really fun to go to. You want to go to Bali, you want to go to Australia, you want to go to South Africa. There's swimruns everywhere. So choosing a location can actually be one of the funnest parts of it, I think.
Absolutely. And, kind of the theme around the swimrun races is cool races in cool places. So there's always going to be other fun things to do outside of swimming and running, whether that be, it's probably, I would say it might skew more kind of on the outdoorsy, get outside, go touch grass side of the spectrum there. But there are races that are very close, Austin, for example, you can go enjoy a city life in Austin. Same with Portland. I mean, there's so many around that have a little bit of everything, and there's always options for folks who want to do all sorts of different things, maybe don't want to go on a hike every day or whatever. I think Portland's a really cool example of one there. There's the race, but then you can enjoy all that Portland summer in northern Maine is like.
And I think, so once you've chosen a location or you already have a plan. It's like, okay, we're going to go let's use Casco. That's a race we've done a lot, 5 years, we really feel like we know this race inside and out. And so the next thing to talk about is like, okay, what events you're going to do, what you're going to try to schedule, what are logistics. So one could be like, as Chipper mentioned, we like to get to the race. If we're traveling with family, sort of front load the race because we know we're going to need to get away, got to maybe do like a scope out the course, do a shakeout. So there's a couple things that we're going to need to do. And certainly, as low tide boys, sometimes we have events or we do stuff and we try to like meet up with folks. So there's some time that goes away from there. And then you just like plan with your family on, okay, when are you going to be available? And so then you can plan your activities around there, but that's what we did when we went to Whistler was like, hey, we're going to go do this thing from 9 to 10. And then from 11 to whatever, we're going to lunch, we're going to checking stuff out and just kind of understanding that, Chipper, this was your point when we were planning for the show. It's not going to be the ideal 100% buttoned up race weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I would say our family swim run adventures are much different than, when Chris and I go off and do something solo. I always prioritize and look at it. For example, in Lake Vossevier, vacation was the number one. Swim run was like an added bonus that I got to do there or was enabled to do when I was there. And that was kind of like, rather than, hey, when we go and do Austin, it's that we're doing a race and then, there's a little bit of fun that we can have kind of from a vacation standpoint or something else. I will also say I found ChatGPT very helpful in kind of planning out I used it pretty extensively for the Lake Vossevier. I said, here's the dates. Here's kind of a couple of key points that we want to do. What else does that look like? What does travel look like? And it pretty quickly handled what I was kind of looking to do. So, maybe look into your favorite AI agent to help you travel. Could be your travel agent as well.
We actually used it for Costa Rica to help plan our itinerary. So it's like, give us a schedule that's good for a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. And
you put in all the inputs there and, then you can kind of massage it a little bit. We don't want to drive. We want to take the train or we want to do this day and it will kind of sort it out for you pretty good. It get you started at least.
Yeah, for sure. So I think keeping that in mind is really important. But I think it's also like, where's the race happening? Is there a place where it makes sense for your family to go? So if it was like Casco Bay, for example, there's one island where you essentially hit a couple times. That would be a natural place to have family go if they want to see you on the course or hang out at the finish line where they can kind of get the whole experience. Whistler, there was a couple spots sort of around the course where our family went and met us and we were like, hey, we think we're going to be at this dock in, 2 to 3 hours or something. So like, plan to be there if you want or whatever. And then, the kids were playing while we were just, doing the business.
Yeah. So I think that was a great example of it doing well. Hey, some of these race starts are early. It's going to be tough to motivate family, kids, partners to come out and drop you off at 6 a.m. so you can do your early shakeout. Hey, you sleep in, I'll make my own way to the race or however you can get there. And then, hey, between, 10 a.m. and 11, I should be around this area and kind of get them involved if they're into it. If they're older kids, we had Christine on. We could get some volunteering going on.
Certainly.
Passing out cups at stations. My kids have had a lot of fun kind of doing that, and seeing everyone come through was really exciting and another thrill for them to be involved in the race. But yeah, pinpoint those locations, and if you can really work it out well and get your Airbnb on the course somewhere, I know at Orca's next level stuff, but that's also another cool way. They can roll out of bed and just watch you go by. They don't have to travel too far anywhere.
Yeah, or like Orca's Island where you're literally hanging out of the shower, like cheering on the Concho Boys.
Yeah.
It's a great photo of that if people want to go find it. So I think the other thing we want to talk about is, as swim runners, is kind of like, all right, well, what are going to be our swim run race recommendations, right? So you're traveling with your family. As we said, it's kind of hard to be 100% in the game. I frankly, like when we did the World Championship, I don't think I could have had my family there because I don't think I would have been able to kind of get in the headspace I needed to be. But understanding that you're not going to be in a World Championship type headspace, just kind of accept reality, accept what's going on, and then do the best you can. So try to always make sure you're staying on top of your nutrition and your hydration, certainly making sure you're doing your strong electrolyte drink the night before the race and not forgetting to do sort of the basic stuff that you need to do. And then, checking your gear. You still need to do that, right? Like you still need to make sure you didn't forget anything. You didn't forget your gel. So you still have to do the effective objective minimum stuff to make sure you're ready to race so you can still have a good experience. You just need to make sure you carve out time for that. And then certainly on race day,
Control the controllables.
The controllables, but for at least race morning, try to have that be as if you were doing any race morning. You know, family there or not family there, like having your pre-race routine that you already know works for you, that you were trying to at least maintain that, I think would be important.
Yeah, you touched on a really good point as well, because I'll use my own example last weekend or whatever. Hey, I knew I wasn't going to be able to go off and hit the pool early to get those last couple like sharpening workouts in, or I wasn't even able to actually get out and get a run in how I normally would before races. So part of it is also kind of managing your own expectations and helping your team, your partner, and your family kind of understand what that looks like. If you do need to get those things, making sure that, we always try to get out early and get that stuff checked off before the day kind of starts happening, and then kind of gets away from you a little bit easier there. But yeah, having your own expectations managed is going to be helpful, and not going into it like, oh, I got to get all this stuff in on top of the vacation. It's just making it a pretty tough situation to make everything work out. So be realistic with things.
Yeah. And I think like try to have fun with it. Like obviously we all want to race. We want to perform well, but hey, if you didn't sleep because your toddler was up all night, hey, so it goes, right? So it goes, and we still got to get out there and race and just do the best you can. So I think, making sure you're in the right state of mind for this stuff can be helpful. And then right after the race, hopefully your family saw you. Hopefully you have a great day. You cross the finish line. Your kids are there. It's great. If you haven't experienced that, I highly recommend it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty fun thing to be a part of. We've had that privilege a couple times now. You still got to do a little bit of post-race recovery. So if at all possible, like make sure you're doing your post-race things that you normally would, knowing that basically once you're done with that, you should get out of race mode, and now you're in vacation mode. Like you did the job. Now it's time to recover and have fun with your family, and sort of like be able to switch essentially to being more like, all right, like we're going to Disney for 12 hours.
Yeah, we're doing recovery on Disneyland recovery. But yeah, I mean, that could be anything from, I always think it lends itself to, good, nice post-race meal with the family. You can enjoy your beverage or however you partake after a race. But yeah, go relive the day with your family and share that experience. Hey, it was great to see you run by, or when we ran across you at the finish line, or hey, when everyone else was coming in, because they'll be at the finish line, they're also seeing cool stories around of the really fast people that came in and did it, and stories that they heard, or race directors, or things that are happening that you're missing when you're out there wrapping it up on the course.
I mean, speaking of that, so when we were at Whistler last year, we didn't win. Spoiler alert, we didn't win.
No.
But my son, Javi, he was like unconsolable because he was so upset that we didn't win.
Oh, man.
And
I thought we told him that it wasn't going to happen.
I mean, we definitely told him. We definitely told him, because he was like, you guys going to win? We're like, absolutely not.
No.
But it was so, anyway, my wife told me this, but for like 5 minutes, he was just like,
He was going through it. Yeah. Sometimes part of the pitch, going back to the earlier ones there, after the race, you're paying the piper, so to speak. You're logging those, you're doing that Disneyland trip, or going to the amusement park, or paying back. Maybe your wife gets a spa day, or your partner gets a spa day, and you take the kids, or whatever the situation is for the half day.
On Uta, she gets her own sauna day, spa treatment.
Yeah, you can go out, gather fika before for the, forage for some fika in the morning, bring it back for the family there.
For sure.
Always a hunter-gatherer.
So we have some bonus tips now. If you because if you're already, or like, Low Tide Boys, we're sold. We're gonna do a family trip. It's gonna be awesome. It's like, great. Well, you want to make it even more awesome. You want to turn that thing up to 11. Swag. Get matching family swag. Everyone get their Low Tide Boys shirt. In our case, come up with a logo, get it sorted out. Every time I've seen it, whether it's like the water buffaloes, like they always roll deep. They got great swag. A lot more amateur teams are coming up with their swag, which I love it. I think we are ahead of the game on this, 2020, you know how that goes. But think about getting matching swag. There's a lot of places online where you can go get hats, get shirts, get whatever. It really just actually makes everything kind of like bring it together. And, my daughter in particular, like, we have to tell her to take off her Low Tide Boy shirt because she's wearing it so often. I'm like, we need to wash this thing.
I know your family as well has made, drawn signups similar to when you see it a lot more on running or marathon courses. Something cool like that is also a way. But yeah, being outfitted in the swag is certainly helpful. Bonus points if your partner's a go-getter and wants to bring the family around to go literally follow you around the course as much as possible. Seeing once or twice is great, but Swimrun there is the option because of water. Like we mentioned, Casco Bay, there's a follow along ferry or a water taxi that you can go and take. I know at Attila, the Swim World Championship, that's also an option if you want to go above and beyond. That's fun to do, but that's part of the pitch as well. Make sure your partner's going to be into this and not you signing them up for more work on race day when they're already handling a bunch of stuff.
I mean, one thing I heard from my spouse one time when I don't think I did a good job trying to sell, trying to get buy-in was, why would I want to go to a foreign country to basically do what I need to do here, which is take care of the kids while you're racing? And I took that as that is an extremely, extremely valid point, and just food for thought, right? So you want to make sure to sort of reiterate what Chipper's saying. If people are doing stuff for you, you got to do stuff for them. In our case, our family sacrificed a lot to let us do swim run. So to do it as much, like travel to races, do the whole thing. The least we can do is honor that and make sure that, like, hey, how can we lighten your burden, whether it's like spa day afterwards or whatever it is. The other one is for the kids too. Like, it's a lot of work for them as well. So, don't get that extra ice cream, after this.
Puddles all around.
Like, you're sweating it, just try to make it as breezy as possible to have an awesome family vacation. I mean, we've done it a couple times. I think we're going to keep doing them.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun experience. It is a little bit more work than just the solo job that we go and do, but it is more definitely higher on the reward scale and more fulfillment there. There's something special about being out on the course and seeing your family there and just being kind of like lifted up. When they're out there, it's worth taking the 30-second pause and giving them a hug and a kiss and extra high fives paying some attention to them out there before you go and run off for the rest of the day. But I always find myself to be lifted higher, and it's like, oh man, it's so great to see them and see the smiles on your kid's face and how stoked they are when they see you running around doing crazy shit. They really brings them joy as well. So, and appreciate that in the moment that it's happening for. It might be only 30 to 60 seconds there.
Yeah, so with that, that's our Swimrun Family Vacation Planning Guide.
Done.
Let us know your tips, what's worked for you. Maybe you have an awesome pitch that's worked really well. Let's hear it. So DM us or send us an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com. Next from us, we'll get a race report for Whistler, which is coming up in a few days here. Stoked for that race.
Nice. Stoked for you.
Then we got Folsom coming up.
Yeah, a couple more races here in July, but Chris off racing Whistler Sprint with Annie Molesbury, so we're looking forward to that. Your second time in the mixed.
First time ever doing the sprint distance. It's going to be great. I'm so stoked. It's a new course. We do have to swim in Needle Lake.
Ooh.
That's the first lake. So
it's going to be chilly.
I'm mentally prepared, which is way better than we were last year.
Better prepared than totally surprised.
But with that, we'll thank you so much for listening and watching this on YouTube, and we'll see you out there.
That's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a rating or review, since that's the best way to help other people discover the show and the sport of swim run.
Check out our website, lowtideboys.com. That's boys with a Z, for swim run resources, including gear guides, tips, how-to videos, and so much more. Make sure to check out our meme page at The Low Tide Boys on Instagram. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, send us a DM or email us at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Riding Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of our swim run and other activities.
Lots of activities.
Lots of activities.
Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
Then a run.
And then a swim.
Then another run.
Then another swim.
Then run some more.
Just keep going.
Let's go.
And then stop at some point because,
And fuel. Don't forget to fuel.
Gotta fuel too.
Of course, yes.
I don't want to see you.